What is your dog sensitive about in life? What are the things that might have a negative effect on them when they are encountered? For example, loud sounds like gunshots or thunder, strong perfume, crowded spaces, smoke, really loud music, getting hugged, not getting hugged, little dogs, big dogs, pushy dogs, barky dogs, friendly kids, scared kids, meeting strangers, being separated from their friends, slippery floors, feeling trapped on a leash. Yeah? Now, consider this. Does your dog's sensitivity mean that they're flawed or broken or wrong or bad or somehow less than?
Hi, I'm Kathy Kowalik, and I believe that our dogs connect us to the heart and soul of what really matters in life. So hang out, and we'll take a deep dive into the human-dog connection and explore strategies that will inspire you to create legendary, enlightened partnership with your dog. This is the Enlightened by Dogs podcast.
Well, hi, Kathy Kowalik here. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. And I think you're going to love today's episode. Lately I've been talking a lot about better understanding our dogs and our relationship with them. And what are the underlying root causes of reactive, over-aroused, anxious behavior expressions from our dogs? And importantly, our responses to that. And you check out the last few episodes of Enlightened by Dogs to get caught up with this discussion and how I'm thinking about this and what I'm recommending that we do. Now, today I'm going to take on the project of helping to break us free of a common and unfortunate mindset around a very specific topic that I see so often pulls us into a reactivity spiral with our dogs. The topic is sensitivity. Now, maybe it would be good to start with a definition of mindset before we dive into sensitivity. So, what is a mindset? Here's how I think about it. Our mindset is a set of beliefs that shape how we make sense of the world and of ourselves. It influences how we think, feel, and behave in any given situation. And in the context of living well with our dogs, it means that what we believe about ourselves and our dogs and our relationship impacts our success or failure. All right, so let's talk about sensitivity and let's start with focusing on you. So, what are you sensitive about in life? Well, we all have things that we're sensitive to. So, how about you? So what are some things that have a negative effect on you when you encounter them, so you'd rather not? So some examples are like loud sounds like gunshot or strong perfume, crowded spaces, smoke, spiders, snakes, really loud music, getting hugged, not getting hugged, phone calls instead of text, text instead of phone calls, feeling trapped in a crowded elevator, the window seat, the aisle seat, meeting strangers, separated from friends, walking on ice, driving in snow, war movies, movies where the dog dies. Oh my goodness. So we all have our things, yeah? So consider this. What happens when you encounter those things that you are sensitive to? And what happens when those experiences are sustained beyond a pretty brief time? So, for example, you might be okay quickly passing through a crowded lobby, but not okay getting pressed from all sides for 3 hours at a standing concert. Or you might be okay with a quick hug, hello, from Auntie Jane, and not at all okay with a big, long bear hug from Cousin Fred. You see what I'm saying? So think about that. How do you feel? And when you're in the middle of those experiences that include things that you are sensitive to, how do you feel? And how does that affect you, your thoughts, your emotions, your behavior? What do you do to navigate life well with your sensitivities? In other words, how do you make your life easier and less stressful with the choices that you make around your known sensitivities? And consider this. Does your sensitivities mean that you're flawed or broken or wrong or bad or somehow less than? Yeah. And now consider this. What happens if someone quite significant in your life, a family member, let's say, or a friend or a spouse or a partner? So, what if someone significant in your life makes it known to you that your sensitivity makes you flawed or weird in a bad way? And of course, they clearly show that they do love you, but they also make it known that they wish you weren't so sensitive to, quote, air quoting, normal things like hugging or loud music or large gatherings, because it makes it difficult for them to enjoy the relationship and the life that they want to have with you. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot to think about, right? Now, when you think about this significant someone in your life, letting it be known to you in some way, subtle or maybe not so subtle, that they wish you weren't so sensitive to what they consider normal things, knowing that that's how they're perceiving you, would that lessen or soften your sensitivity? Or would it amplify your sensitivity when you're around them with your sensitive self, right? And how about times when you are feeling especially vulnerable or stressed or overwhelmed or worried? How would that affect your sensitivity, right? Now, on the other hand, what if that significant person in your life accepted you, sensitivity, quirks, and all? So let's say that you were meeting a friend to go watch a movie in the theater. Yeah, I know, weird, right? But let's say that that were true. And they were suggesting, hey, let's go see this movie that had like war scenes, and you know that you're really sensitive to that, and of course you want to be with your friend, you want to get together and you'd love to go see a movie with them and have that shared experience. That would be really cool. But you don't really want to see that movie. And so you say, right, like, oh, I'd love to go to the movies tonight, but could we, like that movie? I don't think so. That kind of movie, like weirds, makes me feel weird and it upsets me. And your friend, what if they were to say, oh, no worries, it's okay. We don't need to see that movie. Let's pick out another one instead. So what if your friend responded that way? Or if they responded like, oh, well, that's too bad. I was really looking forward to seeing, this particular movie, and I was hoping that you'd come with me because I don't really want to go alone, and I'd love to hang out with you, and I thought we could have a great time at the movies together, and it's too bad that you're so sensitive. Are you sure that it wouldn't be okay? Like, what if I don't know, like, what if we got you some of your favorite, popcorn and beverage, so that you could distract yourself during the movie? How would that be okay? Right. So contrast that with a friend that says, "Oh, I get it. I'll see that movie another time with someone else, or I'll wait till it comes, to Netflix. No problem at all. Let's go see another movie. I'd love to spend the evening with you." So when those are your two choices, which person might you trust more? The one that wants you to be more normal and go see like a normal movie that everyone else is loving, and it's, well reviewed and well received and, nominated, blah, blah, blah. And they don't get why you don't want to go see it because you're so sensitive. Will you trust that person more? Or will you trust the person that says, hey, I get it. I know you're really sensitive to that. So no big deal. Let's go pick out another movie. Which one do you want to see? Which of those two people will you trust more? And who will you be more likely to go to that loud concert or that war movie another time with in the future? Right? Yes, it's the person who you trust, who accepts you, quirkiness and all, because you feel braver, more adventurous, more open to trying new things with that person. And why is that? It's because you feel safe, secure, connected. You feel understood, known, and accepted. You see what I'm saying? Now, let's bring in why this matters in the first place. Because you, like all of us humans, are a social mammal. Yeah. We are designed to thrive through connection. We learn from our culture and from our family about what is normal and how we do things. We need to feel safe, secure, and connected. It's a biological imperative. It's not just a nice to have, it's a necessity to thrive. And our dogs are the same. Yes, 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 yes. As a social animal, dogs thrive through connection. That's where the intersection of our two different species can meet in harmony. Okay, so now let's go back to the sensitivity discussion and consider our dogs. So, what is your dog sensitive about in life? What are the things that might have a negative effect on them when they are encountered? For example, loud sounds like gunshots or thunder, strong perfume, crowded spaces, smoke, really loud music, getting hugged, not getting hugged, little dogs, big dogs, pushy dogs, barky dogs, friendly kids, scared kids, meeting strangers, being separated from their friends, slippery floors, feeling trapped on a leash. Yeah, yeah, you see how this works? Now, consider this. Does your dog's sensitivity mean that they're flawed or broken or wrong or bad or somehow less than? And consider, what can you do to navigate life with your dog's sensitivities? How can you make life easier and less stressful for your dog and therefore for you too, right? Because what we want is a relationship where your dog trusts you more and feels more confident, brave, and very willing to try new things. Not because you're asking them to, or paying them to, or rewarding them when they do, but because they trust you, because they feel safe and secure and accepted and understood and loved and connected. Yeah. When we consider our dog's unique and subjective experience of the world that we are responsible for leading them through, it will change everything. This common misunderstanding and the unrealistic expectations that we are culturally conditioned to accept as rules and standards for dogs, that's how we so often end up in a reactivity spiral with our dogs. Okay, so now that we have this perspective shift, what do we do next? Well, we start putting it into action so that it becomes our mindset, our way of thinking, our way of moving through the world with our very, very brilliant dogs. So here are 4 tips that you could use when your dog's sensitivities, quirks, needs, and preferences results in your dog's nervous system triggering into protection mode, where their outer behavior expressions are clearly communicating what is really happening on inside, which is they do not feel safe, secure, connected, understood, and heard. Yeah. All right. Some tips for everyday life challenges that you might find yourself in with your dog. Number 1, stay focused on felt safety and connection. Because when we do, then we can help our dogs move back down the arousal continuum and be able to move back into connection brain, wizard brain, where they're thinking and learning and able to feel regulated and cooperative. And here's a couple of self-coaching questions for you. How do I maintain my own regulation in this circumstance? How do I bring increased felt safety to both me and my dog? How can I increase the connection between us? Okay, tip number 2. It's really easy, which is make it easy. So think of it like this. If it were winter, like cold, snowy, windy, like just brutal outside, you would make it easy for when you need to go outdoors by dressing for the weather, right? So, how can you make it easy for felt safety and connection and cooperation for both you and your dog in advance? For example, where, when, how can we get the exercise and potty where we will both feel safe and secure and connected? How can we get connected before we go out the door? And how can we maintain that connection for as long as we're out? How can I adjust the circumstances to meet my dog's sensitivities, needs, and personality quirks? Okay. All right. Tip number 3, get closer. If your dog starts to alert to something, showing signs of switching into protection mode, orange zone, get close and provide safety, connection, and guidance. For example, is your dog out in the yard barking? Go out there, get close, and invite your dog to move away with you. Is your dog out in front of you on the leash, starting to get a little aroused? Well, just walk up the leash to get closer to your dog, right next to your leg is right next to your dog's collar or harness, and guide your dog into a better direction by getting in between you and your dog and the object that they're alerting to, right? So just slip right in between and just invite your dog to move away with you. If your dog is feeling like afraid of thunder or fireworks, simply guide your dog to their safe haven space rather than anything else, rather than delaying or hoping that they recover or hoping that they'll get used to it or anything. Just guide your dog to where they feel safe, and then the door to other possibilities might open. Okay? All right. Last tip, number 4. You've heard this before. Pause, breathe, connect. Get back to grazing. Shake it off. Remember that you are the leading co-regulator, right? So pause, breathe, connect. That puts you into a great position to make an informed choice for what's next and communicate that what's next to your dog with clarity, kindness, and confidence. Your dog needs that from you. All right, quick review of what we talked about today. It's okay for you to be sensitive and have your quirks and special needs, just as it is okay for your dog. And both you and your dog trust the person that accepts your sensitivities and quirkiness just as you are, without judging or making you feel less than or weird in a bad way, or without expressing like their disappointment in you. And we want to do the same for our dogs. That's what opens up the door to a full, rich life that is ever expanding, because our dogs trust us more, and they're more brave and confident and willing to try new and different things when they feel safe, secure, connected, understood, and heard. Yeah? And what else? Let's see. I'll just go over the four quick tips really quick. So 1, stay focused on safety and connection. 2, make it easy. 3, get closer to your dog. And 4, pause, breathe, connect. All right. So I'm going to end today's episode here, although I do have more to say about this topic and related things. So please look forward to a continuation of this discussion in an upcoming episode. Stay tuned. All right. Thank you so very much for spending this time with me today. I appreciate your contribution to spreading ripples of awareness around the world. Please share this episode with a friend, leave a rating and a review on your favorite podcast app, and please do leave a comment or send a message letting me know your takeaways and action steps that you will be implementing with your dog in your life. All right, have a great week and be brilliant. Bye-bye.
Thanks so much for listening. And hey, if you would like to work with me so that I can help you discover the missing pieces you need so that you and your dog can finally be happy and enjoy life together, then head on over to dancingheartsdogacademy.com and request your invitation to join us in the Brilliant Partners Academy when the doors open for the next enrollment. See you next time, and remember, a brilliant partnership with your dog makes your whole life brilliant.